Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I do apologize if I have to make a sudden quick stop. Just on kitten patrol, I suppose you would call it. But, yeah, good stuff today. We'll see what comes up today, see if we have any good trade setups, see if anything lines up in our favor, and see if we have any strong zones that we're coming into. Something I'd note on crude oil is that we did come into a strong zone. So it seems as though we had and I'll delete this volume profile, we had a 45-minute demand zone right here. And it already held up on Friday as a demand zone. Now again, we're hitting it again today, and we're hitting this red level, this small red zone in between this larger red zone. So I'm going to delete this bigger one. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep this little one, because this little one worked as a very strong and accurate resistance level at some point. Look at this, was perfect, perfect again, and now we want to see if it wants to hold as almost the perfect supply zone, right? So if we just held this low right here, if we want to look to hold that low and create a higher low, we should look to trade higher and hold that point. Guys, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. I do apologize for that late start. I had this little bugger to take care of, and he is quite the handful, guys. Oh my goodness. Alright, so this is crude oil. Take a look real quick at ES and NQ. I just want to poke in real quick, make sure they're okay. Here's our previous day high, previous day low. Ready? We're going to mark that out. Previous day low, previous day high. And we also had a contract shift, guys. So with that being said, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how far we are. And that'll be our little lesson for this morning, guys. YouTube, if you're here on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. I think I'm only going to do the pre-market live on YouTube today. And then the rest will be live just for our team over at Bullishbrs. So we take our measurement tool, guys, to do this. When we have a contract change, you see how all my zones are thrown off on ES. What I would do is I would find my zone, and I see that this is a 2-hour demand, so I'd come over to the 2-hour time frame, and I would click it from this candle, because I know how I mark my zone. So I'd mark it from the open, which is around, let's see, that's not our open of that candle, 6025.25 to 59.73. So let's do the math on that real quick. That was what, 6025.25 minus 59.73 minus 59.73. That equals 52.5 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my not calendar, object tree, click the top drawing and the bottom drawing, but I'm also going to hold shift, so I select them all. Now I'm going to come over to my settings, displacement. I'm going to do, I believe it's plus, then 52.25. There we go. Adjusted all my drawings. I don't have to go back, delete them all, and redo them again. Makes it much simpler. Now we could, though, delete some broken zones that are no longer relevant. We could also update that previous day high, previous day low now. Previous day low. Let's mark our open price and our previous day high. Give me just 30 seconds. What's up, Fairchild? Good morning, man. Good morning. I'll make sure everybody's alright over here. Is everybody still killing it? Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, there's one of them. Give me 1 second, guys. It's when they're not making noise that you gotta be worried. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Alright, so ES, there's our previous day high. Now, it might not look like a major high or anything, and that's because it's technically not at this pivot high right here. However, this was our previous day high because this is where Friday candle opened. And that's, I know it says Thursday right here, but because futures open at 6 p.m. Eastern, that's where that next day's candle will start. So we have our previous day high. We also have a supply zone right above it. So if anything, I'm a little interested to see if some sellers want to step in the supply zone again. Because I see at this point, guys, in this area, sellers are stepping in between 60.92 to about 61.22. There's a lot of active sellers in this area, so I wouldn't want to go long at the top of this range. I'd want to look to see if we could find some short positions up there. Let's see. 2 hour. Just cruising through, making sure we're not missing any supply or demand zones. 3 hour. 4 hour, good morning everybody. Hey, good morning, happy journey, what's going on? Really not seeing much on the 4 hour, 6 hour. Essentially, we have a pretty small supply zone right here. We can mark this out just so we could sort of see where it's at, see the zone itself, see if it's valid, and see how price reacted to it the past few times we were trading in it. So this would be S6 hour, believe it or not. Come back to the 4 hour time frame, 3 hour, 2 hour, and 1 hour time frame just to sort of see how price reacted up there. And it does seem like, look, this is a point where we consolidated and then sold off from. Trying to figure out which letter I'm supposed to be on. Futures moving to September contracts. Yes, so that's going to be, if you use TradingView, a good trick for this, guys, would be to come down towards, there's a little purple icon. You're going to click that, and it'll tell you from, and then to. So we're coming from ESM 2025 to ESU 2025. Give me 1 second, I hear them crying. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. Give me like 20 seconds. Oh, maybe. Hold up, guys. My bad, guys. This guy's clearly where he's not supposed to be. Told you guys before, I'm sort of cat sitting. Got this little kitten trying to make sure he's good. But we're going to go over these price levels. Yo, what's up, Kevin? Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. I just got to make sure I find this little bugger. There he is. He's exactly where he shouldn't be. We'll see if we get him where he should be. And then we're back to our charts, guys, I promise. YouTube, make sure you're hitting that like button. Discord, I do apologize for today. I didn't want to miss today completely. Because I still wanted to give you guys some valid setups and whatnot. But we'll get it going. We'll get the ball rolling. So we changed all our drawings. We updated our drawings. We have our supply zone, a 6 hour supply near our previous day high. So something I might also look out for is to see if we want to reject before we get to that previous day high. I know a lot of traders, retail, maybe institution, might be trying to take this long when we get close to the previous day high to target it, right? Because they might look to target, oh, we're 10 points away from previous day high. I want to take this position long. Well, guess what? That might not be the case. We might get close to that previous day high, get in the supply zone up here where there is an interest in sellers and reject on lower. So that's something I would sort of keep an eye on to see if we do want to reject back lower off of the supply before we get to that previous day high. Now, another reaction I'd look for in this supply zone would be to see if we want to sweep previous day high. So regardless, I'm not looking for long positions above 60.90. Above 60.90, I would look to see if any sellers want to step back in. Hey, good morning, guys. Yo, you got it, Fairchild. Yep, yeah, no, that purple arrow, it tells you when the contracts switch and which contracts you're switching to and from. All right, so let's see. So this was the ES. We could also now check our 15-minute time frame to make sure there are no supply or demand zones from recent days that we might be missing. So let's see. I don't see any 15-minute supply zones up here, down here. Not really anything up here. If anything, because I have all these blue zones, what we'll do is we'll delete these blue zones because they're no longer relevant. And the blue zones are usually intraday zones that I like to mark out, guys, right? I'll look for more reactiveness to these intraday zones because they're more recent. And when I see we either start moving away from them or start disrespecting them, which means we just ignore them, then I want to delete them from my chart and I look for new zones. So 30 minutes, same situation. I'm not seeing any supply up here. I'm not seeing any demand down there. 45 minute. and really not seeing too much. What I'd essentially look for, guys, is a basing candle down in this area, so I could delete this 2-hour demand zone and this 30-minute demand zone. The reason for that is because I see these zones were run through. Here we go, we're getting something. So let's delete this one for now. And what I'll show you guys is that we have our demand zone. So here's our basing candle, and then we have our impulse move and continuation away from it. Now, pre-market, we already showed that buyers are active in this zone because, well, we opened pre-market in that area and continued higher. So I would look to see, this is our zone for today on the ES. This is our range. We have highs of about 60.90. Right now, our current high is 60.70, and our low is 60.13. So let's do it. This is the 90-minute demand zone, D90. 45. Not seeing anything much. Again, just sort of going through these time frames to make sure I'm not missing anything up or down. Let's see, hourly, not seeing much on the hourly here. So we have the hourly candles also sort of a basing and our demand zone. We do have, I believe it was the 3 or 4 hour. The 4 hour, which gave us our basing, and then an impulse move and some continuation. But something I want to point out with this 4 hour demand zone, if we were to mark it out, guys, is look, we have our strong impulse, our strong basing, because it's at a low, it's got a long lower wick, small body. But the impulse move, I would have wanted a stronger candle, almost more one like this, that moved, let's see, how many points did this move? This moved 40 points. This impulse move only moved about 17 points, not even 20. So that tells me this was sort of a weak reaction. Buyers did reverse us from these lows, but we also failed to move to the next supply zone. Now, when we're trading supply and demand, a strong supply or demand zone will normally bring us to the next supply or demand zone. So because this one failed to bring us higher, this wouldn't really be the highest quality of zones. I'd probably like to keep an eye on that 90-minute though. The 90-minute did give us a better basing area, and it also showed us this morning, pre-market, that there's a lot of active buyers in that area. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll definitely see how markets want to react. Let's see. 1 hour. So this was ES. Now we can take a look at the NASDAQ. Because NAS is also going to give us a different setup. Alright, so let's see. So something I'd point out here on NASDAQ is here on the hourly time frame, we actually have a little bit of a basing candle right here. So something I look for, and what we also see back here is another basing area on the hour, right? And we came into it, we rejected it. I would like to see if this current hourly candle that we're on right now, that literally just opened up 2 minutes ago, can find some rejection and push lower. If that's the case, and we're able to hold below, and here we'll mark it out so we can visually see it. Let's see. Alright, so we'll look for bears. So we'll do a little emoji bears. Bears. And then we'll look bears hold below. That's sort of what I'm looking for at this price level. And that would sort of help me also gauge direction going into the New York Open. Wishing I've been trying my DCA long play all night to see where I'd be, but sleep is necessary. Yeah, dude, sleep's necessary, and if we don't sleep and we keep ourselves up because we want to stay in a trade, and we end up taking a loss on that trade, or a small loss here, that fuels the emotional aspect of trading, and that'll make you go, oh, I tried along here, I got stopped out here, it started to rally, oh, I got to take this along again up here once we break. Oh, look, once we break this high again, I gotta take it long. I took it long. It's moving in my favor. Great. I added. It pulled back really hard. Now I stopped out, and it reversed in my favor again, right? That's not how we want to trade. We want to wait for these breaks and pullbacks. We enter on the pullbacks. There is no entry on the breakout, guys. Never, ever. We either want to wait for a strong breakout and pull back to this exact level, or we want to wait for a weaker breakout, still a breakout, and a pullback to that last area of imbalance that we created, like a fair value gap or volume shelf. So let's see. So this is the ES now. I'm sorry, this is the NASDAQ now, and looking at the previous day high and low, I think actually on NQ, before I start marking it out, we got to update our zones, right? So here's our 15-minute time frame. This was a 15-minute supply zone. So let's mark out our 15-minute high. Let's see, our opening on the 15, which is at 20,056.25, and bring it to the start of the supply zone right there. So let's do the math on that real quick. That is, what did we say, 20,000, 056.25 minus, and then where does our supply zone start? 21,000. Oh, I almost did that wrong. It's 22,000, right? Wasn't that 22? Hold up. You know what I'll do? This will make it a little easier to spot. 22,056.25 minus, and then wherever our supply zone started, which is 21, so minus 21, 83975, which now gives us 216.5 points. So now what I would do is I'd come over to our object tree, click our top drawing, scroll all the way down, hold the shift button on our keyboard. It's going to select all of our drawings. Then we're going to come over to the settings icon, displacement, and we said what, 216.5, so we'll do plus 216.50. Enter. And now what to do, it adjusts all our drawings for us. We don't have to go in and delete everything and redraw everything. Beautiful. Amazing. Let's see. All right. And back to that hourly. It definitely is looking good for a rejection. Here we go on NQ. This was a supply zone that we did break and hold as support, but we since then broke back below it and held it as resistance. So this is a pretty strong area of interest. I do also want to update where our open price is today as well. So right now, guys, we could see the trend of the market is clearly in a bull trend, but we also see another clear clue in the market. And what's that? Range. Right, that's very range-bound, choppy, and difficult price action. There's a lot of uncertainty, not only in our U.S. economy right now that affects our ES and NQ markets, but in our world, in the world right now, with the Iran and Israel war going on. I mean, we are literally pretty much very close on the brink of a World War III, in the sense that all these different countries are starting to get involved. All these countries are attacking each other, and at some point it is going to separate into possibly allies, and we'll see, and that will have an effect on the economy. That will have an effect on the trade, the ES, the NQ, gold, oil. Everything will feel its effects from that. So let's check our 3 hour, let's check our time frames here on NASDAQ just to see if we have anything of interest. I'm really looking for any supply zones from yesterday. I'd like to see if there are any new supply zones where this one was, but I see that we haven't created anything like that. We have our open price, supply zone. I sort of want to delete this demand zone too, so I will. This was a strong key level right here. This was a, what, previous day low? Believe that's our, no, let's update previous day low, previous day high. Right now on NASDAQ, guys, we haven't taken out our previous day high or low. So that tells me we might be a little range bound, which again, would sort of expect that due to the uncertainty and worry in the economy and the world right now. Guys, check this out. Those shorts we were looking at on ES, we were looking for the hourly to close green for a rejection. It did not, but it is still rejecting on lower. 2 hour closes in 51 minutes. The market opens in about 12 minutes. No, 22 minutes. So we could wait for that. We have NASDAQ rejecting supply. Did ES have a supply zone up here? I see an area where we created a high yesterday. That's usually where we like to create those supply or demand zones. And I suppose we can for now. I see this on a 15-minute time frame. Mark this as a supply between 60.70 and 60.78 on ES. And I'm marking that out on the 15 instead of the 30, because the 30-minute, if I mark it out, would be a little bit higher and would be a smaller zone. The other zone gives me about 2 more points. So that'll be my area of interest to see if any sellers want to step back in. And we can mark that out with a 15-minute trend line too, so we're not wondering what time frame did that come from. Alright, so that's ES, that's NQ, and guys, give me 1 second, and then we'll go over gold. Give me half a sec. YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Hey! Oy. What a fun morning. Dude, those two play like crazy. Alright, gold. Checking out that previous day high, previous day low on gold. Guys, something I wanted to mention on oil. First off, we held that zone perfectly on oil. But something I want to mention is USO is the United States Oil Fund. If you are looking to invest in oil, let's say I am looking for a swing trade, this is where you could also buy some stock in it as well. Give me 1 sec, these guys are lighting it up. Relax. Bro, that's crazy. I haven't had two cats like that in years, and they have fun together. But USO, if you were looking to long-term invest in crude oil, I do believe it has options as well. And we could check over here. We have our options chain. We do USO. And we could see chain. It does have options as well. So very interesting, right? So you could day trade options on USO while I'm in day trading crude oil CL futures. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's get this back to CL. Something I'd like to mention on crude oil is how phenomenal it's been trading. I had this green zone down here. I said watch for us to flip bullish above 64.80, 65, and as soon as we flipped that 65, we squeezed and we shot up all the way to 77. That is like a 15% move, 17, 18% move on crude oil in just a few days. So that's sort of what I was referring to. If you guys were looking for a long-term investment on a swing trade, something I was looking for like that, that would have netted you a very nice return on something like USO. Hey, what's going on? I'm losing it, man. I swear I'm losing it. That's why we'll do the pre-market today on YouTube, guys. YouTube, appreciate you guys hitting that like button. But then we'll keep the live stream just to our community today, just because I'm a little back and forth with the whole pet situation. But it'll be easier for Discord because what we'll be doing is when the market opens, we'll be live trading. We'll keep Bookmap up on the left-hand side, and we'll see what's going on intraday at our specific price levels. So here we have crude oil. Let's take a quick look at crude, right? So something I'm going to do is delete this right here. I'm going to keep this as an area of interest because I do see, as much as we did run through it a few times, it did also work as support, 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 and then a resistance when we were below it. So it's still an area I would like to consider and be aware of on crude oil. If it's an area that has had resistance in the past, it's an area I want to keep on in the future. As for all of these other zones, though, we could definitely be deleting these. I see we're very range bound. We were breaking those highs, breaking those lows. Let's see. Let's check now. Let's go back to the daily for a quick second here on crude. Mark out that previous day high, previous day low. Recognize that we haven't broken either of them. Our open price is all the way up here. And yeah, crude oil's got some buying pressure in it right now. It's coming off of this demand zone. It's coming off of this red area of interest that I had perfectly, by the way. I mentioned that while we were in it around, was I able to? Were we there? Yeah, 850. I started around 845. Yep, we were right over there. But crude's looking okay. If it's able to close somewhere outside of this demand zone, and we want to create maybe like a new fair value gap within that demand zone, that might be an ideal type of entry, but I would look for continuation first before we could pull back. Don't really have a low volume node down there. A little bit. What's this, between 84 and 65? 84. So 63 is pretty low. Over here a little bit. Compared to this area, this is definitely a low volume node, right? So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if there's any areas of support or resistance there. I do see 71.71 was very strong, so I might keep an eye on that 71.71. 71.71, stop loss at that recent pivot low or below it a little bit. Look to target. We could see where VWAP's at. On the 5-minute it'll show all the way up here, so that might be a nice little play right there. We could also usually target a recent supply or demand zone on a lower time frame, 15-minute, 30-minute, and I'm really not seeing too much. We've been chopping our way lower, which tells me we might be able to squeeze our way back higher. 1 hour. I'm also looking for these other time frames to see how they're closing. Look at this, guys. Oil with some nice buying pressure. Need it to continue. Gold, we started on gold. We look at previous day high, previous day low, pre-market high, pre-market low, open price, all this fun stuff. And don't forget, guys, the dollar has had a crazy drop, and I'll show you guys what's going on with the dollar right now. I just posted a video on the dollar, and it just hit a 2-year, 27-month low. The dollar, guys, that is massive. And inverse to that, right, usually we look for then strength in gold. When there's weakness in the dollar, a lot of that investment goes into something that's a bit more sturdy, long-term, and consistent, and that would be gold. We see gold's near all-time highs. Crude's not near all-time, the dollar's not near all-time lows, but it is at some major lows and just making its way lower really from here. So something to keep an eye on with that, right? Weak dollar, strong gold. Look for strength in gold. I can maybe look to see if we have any demand zones we're coming into here. I see we had a very strong 2-hour supply zone that we were able to hold as supply, so it was resistance. Now we were able to break it on, this was Thursday. Do you guys remember this Thursday where we marked at that book map level and then it top ticked towards like 34.18 and then it reversed back lower? So 34.18, 34.16. I'm going to mark that back to 34.18. And we're going to see if we do want to pull back to 34.18 today on gold. We are currently moving lower. For us to pull back that far would call for another about 14-point drop, right? And that's not so unheard of right there. So I'd maybe look to see if we want to drop lower, see if there's any price levels down there. I don't see anything at 34.18. I do see, however, 34.12. And 34.12 is right near this key level area. Now this broken supply zone underneath we could delete because it was broken and used as demand already. Yo, the older one tells on the younger one. It's really funny. It's like, yo, he's doing blank he shouldn't be. Alright, so here we go. We just hit, this is actually where I was considering longs on gold, right? This big imbalance, this big supply zone we broke. We took out pre-market lows as well there. Where's my, I had a trend line. Oh, I broke it by accident. Look, we have a liquidity level. Look at this liquidity point right here, guys, right? So this is a stop hunt, right? There's a pivot low, pivot low, pivot low. We just broke it. I want to see us get back above it and hold above it with some buying strength. That would be huge. Look at this buying delta that just came in down here as well. It's a very aggressive buyer. Came in once we entered this zone. So that gives me confidence that gold might be looking for a long position down here. And we could also, same thing, look for VWAP. VWAP's right up there. Just eyeballed it. That's always fun. And let's keep our stop loss at that recent low that was made. Because look at that big CVD drop. And then pulled right back. So those sellers filled. And a buyer absorbed all that selling. Buyer said, give me that. I need that right now. Very aggressive. So that might be a really nice position on gold. We have 12 minutes till market opens. I'd always, of course, keep an eye on the 15-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame. Really see how they want to close. This looks amazing for gold to reverse and hold back higher and go bullish. Remember, guys, we were just talking about the weakness on the dollar. Now, weakness on the dollar plus gold holding such strong areas of support and creating higher highs and higher lows, this could be a phenomenal bullish trade on gold. Let's grab a quick screen grab of that. Actually, hold up, let's see. Yeah, this is fine. What's going on? There we go. Oh, my goodness. I'm having trouble grabbing a screen grab today. I got too much going on. Good morning, everybody. YouTube, make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe. Look at that gold coming right off of our level of interest. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Let's see. So now that we have our screenshot, we can do a quick little write-up there on gold and what's going on with it. GC, XAU, USD, in case you're trading Forex, or just gold, or GLD, if you're trading the stock. So gold is coming into a strong area of interest at around, we'll say around 34.28, 34.28, because I don't want to say at 34.28, because that gives very specific of price levels, and sometimes people are very specific when reading those. If we can hold this area, I'd like to see some buying pressure. Sustain us higher. And sustain us higher. This will also now let's see, pressure 2. I'll also be looking for the dollar. I'll also be looking for a continuous, because remember guys, the dollar's been continuous to the downside. USD, DXY. Okay, so that's what we're looking for on gold with gold. Book map, book map. A lot of aggressive buying came in at 34.26. Strong positive delta. That's what's told me there was strong buying down here. Other than seeing obviously this big buy bubble form, when we came down here, guys, right? Check this out. We were moving lower, and then price finally gets a break. And when we break, somebody down here said, yo, I gotta buy this right now. Very aggressive buying delta at that 34.27. And what happened from that, guys? Aggressive buying led to a strong reaction, and price reversed from there. So very, very good stuff right there. Let's see. A lot of aggressive, strong positive delta. Dude, I stay busy. What can I say? Marziti, did you see my new member of my risk management team? He hisses at me if the trade's red. I'd like to either see a retest of this price level and see if they want to protect their position, or add to their position. Now, technically, if they were protecting their position, they would be adding because they're trying to make price move higher again. So that's what I'm looking for on gold at the moment. We'll mark that out. We'll send that out. Market's open in 7 minutes. And YouTube, guys, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe. Probably going to wrap up the pre-market soon, but we'll keep the live stream going for our homies here on Discord. We'll see. Well, you know what? No, forget that. We'll keep it going. Why not? The cats are calming down. The cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. All right, let's see. Crude oil pulling back to the level I was looking for. That's 71.71. So if we were able to get back above 71.71, that would be great. But unfortunately, we just broke it, and we built a lot of resistance above us. So when we break a price level, guys, and we see a lot of orange build right above that area we just broke below, that's a lot of resistance. That's a lot of sellers saying, okay, we're okay with price continuing lower here. So this is a no trade on oil. Let's see, give me half a second just to post this on out of here. Alright, let's see. Okay, we keep an eye on gold, if anything, for now, since oil doesn't want to give us that setup. We'll see if gold does want to push back towards that 34.30. And we could also see 34.30 was a pretty strong bid down there for a little bit. So that could also be an area we could look for a retest and hold. Oh, there you go. There you go, buddy. Oh, man, he was gonna look out the window. He changed his mind. Alright, let's see. Do. Alright, so this is what we got on gold. We looked at ES and NQ already. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. We have our nice rejection to NASDAQ off of the supply zone. Now, guys, I'm thinking with the way markets are looking right now, I do not think we move higher at market open. I'd actually like to see sellers step in when market opens. See if we can maybe push lower from here. Gold has been pretty range bound. Again, we'd be looking to buy these lows, possibly sell the highs. I would really be looking for strength on something like gold today due to the uncertainty and just not the economy, the entire world, right? There's a lot of uncertainty and worry in the world behind the fact that there might be a war. Well, there's definitely a war, but there might be an even stronger, impactful World War III. Again, when people hear World War III, of course, we think of the worst comes to worst, right? And yes, we're talking World War III. But at this point, so many countries are involved that it's practically becoming a world war before our eyes, right? So we have to be aware of that. We have to understand what's going on globally. And because that global effect will have an impact on our economic, and that's ESNQ, that's our consumer confidence, that's our stocks, everything. So we'll keep an eye, we'll take a look. I'm going to add an alert on gold down here at 34.30 to see if we get a retest. I'm also going to add another alert near 34.2860. Oil was able to get back above that 71.71. And it held down here. Look at that. A strong bid formed at 71.51 right there. Alright, let's see. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well today. Happy, I don't know, Monday. Happy Monday, June 16th. Always good to know what day and time it is. Alright, let's see. News flow. We can see if any news came out. Upcoming Fed meeting eyed as equity futures rise pre-bell. It's not too much of a news related. Wall Street set to open higher as oil prices ease, that we understood and knew. And really not too much going on. Now, obviously, guys, oil had a very strong impact, and it had absolute wild. Just yesterday alone, right, in that one individual day from its open to its high, moved 12% on oil in one day, right? Now, this was a reaction due to Israel bombing Iran. Guys, Iran, Middle East, we always hear how big they are when it comes to oil. Well, of course, then crude oil is going to feel a strong impact on that, right? It's not just crude oil, gold, even the U.S. markets aren't just affected by U.S. economics. They're affected by global, especially if it's strong and worrisome. Alright, let's see. So oil is probably a no-touch zone in my opinion. I liked it off of this zone right here, this 71.39. Held it perfectly. A retrace probably was the 71.56 down here. I'm not in it. I'd maybe, I don't know. I'd look to see how higher time frames want to close on it, but that's about it. 30-minute, 45, hourly, things of that nature to see if we want to get some type of reversal candle on oil to the upside. Without that, would not look for anything on oil here. Guys, look at gold. Beautiful, beautiful reaction and hold there on gold. It's the gold hold. So, oh, markets are open. Markets are open. I was expecting us to move lower from here. ES and NQ, we'll take a look at those. Let's see. 60.22, very strong. Wait, 60. Oh, I'm on the wrong. That's right. ESU. You Soldier Boy said, "Oh, watch me cake it, watch it, whoa." Soldier Boy and Superman tell me, whoa. Alright, USU. Cats are crying. Hold up, give me 2 seconds. Gotta also get NQU up there. NQU5, there's our pump. Now guys, if I'm wrong on this, right, and we're able to break these supply zones, then I'm able to switch my bias. Don't short today, yo, listen, that's okay. As traders, we're risk managers, we're able to assess the problems, we're able to assess the situation, assess the markets, and change our bias. That's our goal as traders, to not have a locked-on bias. Alright, they're fine. 9:31, son of a guns, and let's see where we're at. Got a nice little pump there. Now the question is, does it want to have follow through? Where's ES currently trading into? And do we have any resistance up here? Well, 60.80 is the next point of resistance, and that would be sort of near and above our pre-market high. So here's our pre-market high on ES right here. We can mark that out as sort of like a buy-side liquidity. Because above here, we have a lot of people taking breakout trades, and above there, we have a lot of people stopping out of short positions. Palantir ripping, dude, that's awesome. I know, dude, I'm sort of annoyed with Palantir because I remember telling a buddy that I'd be careful with it at this point, and now here it is, literally giving you guys exactly what I was looking for, or pull back to 134, and it's now rushing towards 150. But, yeah. Did I post it? I'm pretty sure I posted it, so. Nope, that was. Yup. Oh my goodness. Palantir. I'd like to see a strong move where we say Palantir has been in a strong bull trend for over a year now, starting around $20, currently trading around $130. This is before we even broke that zone on Palantir. We are currently in a range between 120 and 132. I'd like to see it break above 134, new all-time highs, and reclaim old resistance and target 150. Yo, tell me how perfect that was. Look at this. I made it on this day, on Monday the 9th, before we broke out. Broke 134, retested that 134. And then we continued, we're going towards that 150. That was like, couldn't have been seen and said any better. Gold continuing up, ES and NQ. ES did break that high, that pre-market high right there, but some strong sellers started to step in. Dude, these little dudes keeping me busy. All right, let's see. There we go. Good buying pressure on ES. Definitely not looking for shorts right now, guys. Market just opened 4 minutes ago. Right now, our goal is to be patient and let it sort of play out and give us an idea of direction. Because right before I was looking for shorts if we could continue lower on that hourly, but now at this point, we broke that recent hourly high. That short position is no longer in our favor. And we're looking to see if there's a new long entry. Yo, they're once. Hey. You good? These two are ridiculous. One's like a year old, a little over a year. The other's 9 weeks old. So one's super small. The other one thinks he's super small. Let's see. So Palantir, amazing. Crude oil, holding up pretty well. Gold also holding that zone very, very well. Now, I'd be careful. I wouldn't take longs at this breakout, guys. We never want to take breakout trades because that's what leads to traps, right? And we don't want to try to buy the highs or sell the lows. We want to wait for a pullback and buy the dip, right? That's just like the saying, buy the dip. Now, that was a great close there on the 5-minute on ES. I'd maybe look to see if we want to pull back towards 73. And see if 73 would want to work as a possible entry for long. 73.50. 73.50. Maybe look for like 71 as a stop loss. And the reason for that would be we'd be looking for a continuation trade. And we really need to see equities hold up. We need to see VIX continue lower. As we see right here, we are pulling back. And like I said, we would want to buy these dips. We wouldn't want to buy the highs. We want to buy the dips. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Happy Monday. Happy Monday the 16th. All right, let's see. Pulling back now. So we want to hold this, what would we say, 73.50? 73.50 to about 73. So it's about 2 ticks. I'm looking for a quick push into it. And I want to see if aggressive buyers want to step in or what. Because right now at 60, 72.50, a point below that area, we had an aggressive buyer step in. So let's wait and see. What we could also look for is the footprint chart. Make sure that our footprint from the last 5-minute candle, good, volumes stronger to the upside, point of control was moving higher. So yes, I would be looking to see if we can maybe hold right into this area we're pushing into right now. Guys, my goal here with Bullish Bears, with these live streams, isn't so much to give you guys the best call outs, the perfect trades, follow my trades every day and you'll make $1 billion. No, my goal is to help you guys become efficient traders yourself. Because one day, maybe, you won't be trading with me or you won't be trading with a community or following someone. Right? The goal of trading is to become self-sufficient, become your own boss, your own leader, have your own hours, be independent, and be financially independent. But that calls for you to have your own system, you to pull your own trigger on your own trades, and that's it. Israel.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Israel strikes a military base in western Tehran. Air defense system activated. That's sort of the notification I just got. So again, there's still...
Have you taken a trade on crude oil this morning? I'm sorry, I'd been in and out.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I liked oil off of 71.40. 71.40 to 71.20 was a real strong area of support that I had inside a demand zone.
Did you take a trade of any kind?
Oh, did I? No, I didn't take anything yet.
Okay, because I got a trade of 8 message saying that intraday margin on crude oil is $24,000 today.
Whoa.
Not 1,000 or 500, whatever it is.
Do you think they're expecting something? That is insane. I would probably guess it's because of how wild of the days we've had the past few days. I mean, this almost looks like, I saw a joke online how this looks like a meme coin crude oil right here. How it looks like we went from sideways, like we were flat here, and then we just spiked up like crazy. So I did see a meme like that, which was pretty funny. But that's most likely why. If there's a lot of extra volatility, they want to make sure you have the margin and cushion available, that you're not getting screwed and screwing them over too. They got to protect themselves, these brokers.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm just a little shocked of the
Yeah, that's insane.
incredible intraday margin requirement skyrocketing like that. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's an absurd amount for sure. 100,000, like a lot. 24,000 from 1,000. That's insane. that's that's really crazy.
I'm gonna check Thinkorswim, see what it says.
Yo, do you think they're expecting crude to shoot to like $85 a barrel today? Which is possible. Look at, guys, I always like being realistic with the market, right? And being reasonable and trying to have that hindsight trading. Now, obviously, we can't trade with hindsight. We can't trade. Hindsight's always 2020. But if we're looking at this chart right here, and I see this crazy volatility we've had, and we moved up 20% from low to high in the past just 3 trading days alone, 20% on crude oil is mind-blowing. $64 to $77. Again, that's the high. We ended up closing yesterday up only 12 to 13% from those lows. Still a wild move in just 3 days. What would make sense here? Us to just completely reverse out of nowhere? Or us to somehow continue that momentum with that volume that we had yesterday and everything else in between? Well, it would make a bit more sense that we were to follow through and create those highs again. So we'll have to see how we want to react. That was, we had a lot of buying, though, when we were extra volatile on oil on the overnight sessions. Right now is not the overnight session, but that doesn't mean we can't get a move. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. I like gold is about to come back towards my 30. Here it is, gold 34.30 area, just a tick below it. I'd look to see 34.28. We have some passive buyers starting to stack up down there.
And here I was talking about how much easier and smoother it was to trade crude.
Yep. What's that?
Well, I mean, last week I was talking about I was working on crude lately because of the knee-jerk reaction so much with news and Trump tweets on ES and stuff. I was like, oh, crude's the place to be. And then we come into today. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, no, I feel that. All right, gold though, look at this. Gold is hitting our area of interest. So look, earlier we wicked into this zone and we held it. So I wanted to see if we could retest this. This is part of our pre-market setup. I wanted to see how we could retest this zone. Along with a weak dollar. So how's the dollar looking? Dollar's dropping off for the past this morning. So let's see if gold.
We only need 15,000 on Thinkorswim to trade a contract of gold today.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, a little bit of a discount there.
A little bit of, yes, that's nice. There we go. Okay, gold with a pretty strong dip below that recent low. Let's see how we want to react to it, right? Remember earlier we had that strong positive delta? Well, now after we broke that again, I didn't see a strong delta come in. Palantir now up. Dude, no way. That's crazy. Is it at? That's wild. Palantir, man, I'm telling you, it wants 150. I don't know if it wants it today. I don't know if it wants it tomorrow. It wants 150. It'll hit 150. It'll hit 160. What I like is CoreWeave, CRWV. Because I called that thing out at 120. And now it's at nope, where is it? Oh, this one right here. I was looking at it over here because NVIDIA was reporting earnings. I was doing my research on NVIDIA, and this was one of their top holdings. And they've been holding it since before it IPO'd, right? They were original investors, so they probably got a price better than that $40 that it IPO'd at. Since then, it rallied all the way up to highs of 165, 166. But I covered it around 120, looking for continuation towards that 150, which is sort of what we're looking for on Palantir as well. So let's pull back crude oil, and let's also look at gold, guys, because remember, I said gold's not really giving us that signal for longs, and because it's not really giving us that setup. Now, what I would look for is to see if any strong buying wants to come in, or any type of continuation whatsoever. Because at this point, the supply zone is still a demand zone because we broke it and we're holding it as demand. ES and NQ, I'd like to add an alert here at 60.74 on ES to see if we could break below it and get a demand zone or a long entry on ES around 60.72. Right now, guys, check this out. The NASDAQ is moving higher while the weighted index is struggling. But weighted index is trying to move higher along with it. If we could get some strength here on equities, we'll probably feel the ES and NQ continue higher. But right now, Meta's trying to move lower. Microsoft was just near new high a day. Apple rejected near VWAP. Nvidia's holding VWAP but trying to range. Let's see. Crude. Gold. There we go. Nice rejection on gold there. There we go. All these big bids that got filled down here. That's good. And that aggressive buyer is still active at that 34.27 area. 34.27. 5 seconds till we close here. I'd want to look to see where our point of control is on that last 5-minute candle. If it's lower, there's no long trade. If it's higher, yep, lower, no long trade. It's a lot of volume to the downside. Would not look for us to reverse at this point. At the moment, it's still an area that I wanted to see us reverse. Sometimes it is a good sign to see a lot of volume come in at these lows, but we have to remember when volume starts coming in at prices while we're moving lower, that's volume accepting price at lower prices. Same with reversing. If we're reversing, then our point of control should have held higher, and it did not. So no trade on gold, and that is okay. ES and NQ, they gave us a little bit of a bull flag there before popping. No setup or entry on them as well. Did I get NASDAQ back up here? I did. Wonderful. Watch that VIX. We cut under 19 and the markets are going out to dinner. Love it. Love it, man. Dude, that's why I love this. As funny and cool as Signet is, I know he's a little bit of a hard butt, but probably one of the smartest guys we've gotten here. Bullishbrs Signet. This fella right here. Definitely an interesting guy. Good guy, great guy, very smart. He's more in the options and stocks. But again, options, stocks, whatever you're looking at. If you're trading US markets, SPY, ES, NQ, QQQ, GC, gold, GLD, crude oil, CL, USO, United States oil. Let's see, here is ES, here's ES. So again, we have our low volume node on ES right at that 60.74 to about 60.72.75. So about not even 3-point range right down there where there is a little bit of an imbalance. And that imbalance was created in this broken supply zone now. So sort of adding up, telling me, okay, we got some good resistance, we got a breaker block, a fair value gap, all this nonsensical ICT mumbo jumbo, smart money concepts. But all in all, it's order flow that's telling me to take or not take this trade. Something I will mention, though, is look at our weighted index. Weighted index has been struggling with that previous session's high for a little while. I'd really want to see us start to hold. If the weighted index starts selling off, I'd be a little concerned that NASDAQ will also start pulling back. Same with ES, right? But we need a pullback here to get our entry. Oh, excuse me. We need a pullback here to get our entry. So here's our pullback. A lot of resistance just formed up here. A lot of aggressive sellers here on the delta, by the way. I wouldn't look for shorts up here. I wouldn't look for longs up here, guys, right? What do we call this area? Middle of nowhere. There's a no trade zone. You try a short, it's gonna pop back up on you. Try a long, it's gonna pop back up, back lower on you. So right now we could do one of two things. We could wait for a breakout and give us a new area of entry, or we could wait for our retest and see if we want to find some support and let that be our entry. But one of those two things is not jumping in a trade right now. Unless you have your exact parameters lined up, unless you have your setup that you see, unless you see something that's screaming out A+ to you, there's no trade right here. I see Amazon rejecting lower. I see my kitten has gotten lost again. There we go. Okay. That's why we wait. 9:49. What happened, guys? We didn't have any economic news. We didn't have any data. I'm sure somebody exploded somewhere at some point with something. We'll see. Nice little hold there on gold. Oil did not get a reaction, so that's interesting. Yes, and NQ certainly did. And again, no economic news to give us that. Retail sales tomorrow. Looking for highs on ES of 60.90. We mentioned 60.90 this morning in our pre-market. Somebody was saying, oh, if you got any dad jokes, tell him here. Somebody wrote, honestly, I don't usually tell dad jokes, but when I do, he laughs. Ah. Let's see. Gold, really trying to hold off of that key level. Same situation as ES and NQ, right? In the sense that I don't really have... Gold is in an area of support where I would love to find a long position. However, every time buyers try to step in down here, they do get batted back down. Something we could do is we could mark out a recent low we just created, like here on the 15 and 30 minute, and just sort of see how we want to react to it. And wait for that 30 minute to close in 10 minutes to see if we want to close higher, which would help give me confidence that we might be basing to continue higher on gold. Crude oil's also continuing its way higher as well. That was off of this key zone right there. Amazing. And yeah. We're just waiting. ES and NQ, they're moving up. Remember, we were looking at those point of controls before, and they were moving higher along with price. So that is, again, a bullish sentiment. Even though these candles were red right here, we see that those red candles, first off, volume got much lower on the red candles. Now, when we see low volume on red candles after we just had a green candle, that tells you, right here, you see how volume got lower? Well, that tells you that these red candles aren't actually aggressive sellers. It's most likely people trying to take profit. People maybe exiting some of their position, or the market really just pulling back, right? Because it's not getting us aggressive volume. Trump. Happy journey. That's funny. I bet that might have done it. That would make sense. But Tesla didn't move up, so I don't think so. Tesla would have gone to the moon. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well today. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's Monday the 16th. Monday the 16th. Let's see. Hey, Bullishbrs community, I'm going to run a discount for you guys because I love you guys. For the one-on-one mentorships. So I've noticed a lot better responses to the bundles of the mentorships, and I feel like that's a little obvious because when you buy one-on-one sessions, that's great. If you're buying in bundles and looking to continue to buy, so you get one a week and continuously look to further your education, that's great. But I found a lot more quicker and better results when people take the bundle of a month or 2 months, and that's 2 sessions a week for that month, for that 2 months. So Bullishbrs members, I'll knock it down to 600 for 8 sessions, and that's again 2 a week for 4 weeks. That will get you in the right mindset, that will get you in the right trading strategy and have a system in place, right? That's the goal of these sessions, is to help you find what works for you, right? If you like supply and demand, I'll help you find these supply and demand zones. You want to trade an orb, an opening range breakout, learn bookmap, whatever the case may be, but let me help you build some structure. Structure is what builds consistency in the market, and that's our goals here. ES continuing higher, really looking like it wants at 60.90. 60.90 now has a lot of passive orders sitting on the ask, and there it is. Wow, that is beautiful, guys. Amazing. Amazing buying momentum today. Wow, it just straight up keeps going. Keep on going. Looking to see if we got any news coming out. Don't think so. Now, I wouldn't look for longs up here. Buying up in these highs is not a good idea. Remember, guys, I mentioned this previous day high from yesterday to see if we could reject it before we get to that previous day high. If that's the case, I know a lot of traders are going to be trying to take these longs. Oh, if we break 60.90, I want to target previous day high at 60.97. And what happens when you go long in a supply zone like that and you're not aware of your zones, areas, and pivots? You get wrecked. So let's be patient here. Let's see how markets want to react. And again, when coming up to a key level of resistance, a key level of support, or even just a key level in general, like a previous day high or low, our best odds, our best trade is to be patient and wait, see if we want to break through it, or if we start to hold it, we could find a good seller and look to short it because we're shorting the highs. But other than that, we wouldn't want to try to take this along here anticipating the breakout. Yes, trend has been higher today, but we're coming into a strong area of resistance. We're coming into a strong key level at a previous day high. You want to be extra careful here. Looks good. Looks like we want to spike towards that 60.97, 60.98, especially with seeing how market's been reacting this morning, just popping up all over the place. VIX moving lower. VIX getting near that 19 level that Signet mentioned. Guys, give me 30 seconds to find little dude. But you guys keep killing it. Guys, I'll be right there. Give me 30 seconds, not even. Alright, there's that previous day high. Yeah, this guy likes getting in trouble. Jagger. Guys, give me 1 sec. I'll be right there. Guys, give me a solid minute to find this little guy. But YouTube, make sure you keep hitting that like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. Discord appreciates your guys' patience too. That sweep, there's the sweep of that previous day high right there. Sweep a previous day high in a supply zone. We didn't have enough orders to fill the ask that was sitting there, so we rejected it. Ooh, gold. There's a reaction on gold. That was a delayed reaction, guys. ES gave us a pop, right? ES started popping at 9:45. Gold didn't give us that drop till 9:50. Now again, guys, ES, gold, the markets, they don't inverse each other. However, when there's strength in one, there tends to be weakness in the other. Why? Because, well, when they're investing in one, they're usually pulling out profits from the other, right? If they're wanting to invest in gold, that's a bit more of a longer term hold, that's more of something that's got a bit more strength to it during market uncertainty, well, then they're going to pull out of the stocks and put into gold. Vice versa, if they want to invest into stocks because they're getting aggressively stronger, well, they're going to pull out of things like gold, they're going to pull out of things like the dollar, and then boom. So let's see. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Microsoft new high a day, Apple new high a day, Nvidia new high a day, Tesla, we don't care. Meta trying to get above VWAP, but it just rejected it around that 698 level. And Nvidia new high, boom, boom, boom. Wow, equities are popping right now, and there's ES and NQ popping too. Love to see it. If equities start popping, equities are popping. What more can I say? Guys, any questions, please feel free to message me. Please feel free to shoot a message. If you're here on Discord, come over to the main chat or Signet's usually posting and, type away. Let me know. You got any, even if it's the most simple question. What do you mean by liquidity sitting there? Anything you got, I got you. What are these bubbles? Any question you have, don't ever think, oh, this is a stupid question. First off, I know everybody says there's no such thing as a stupid question, but let me follow that up with a real answer. You don't know if somebody else has the same question as you, and you asking might help them because they might not have the confidence to ask. So I wouldn't take high longs up here in the supply zone. Again, we're extended now. We had a pretty strong move. We had our pull back down here. It didn't give us our entry. So we really haven't taken any trades yet. Gold came back to an area of support, but again, gold's also been a bit more to the bear side. So I'd want to wait on that. Is that my VIX? My VWAP? Band multiplier. Why does it show my band fill? Never have that on. Oh, good. Okay, let's see. So here we go on ES. Something I'd point out here with ES, guys, is look at how light the order book looks right here. There are no strong passive sellers. There are no strong passive buyers. I'd worry that volatility kicks in again. And that's sort of also why I'm staying out of this market right now, because there's a lot of uncertainty, worry. And again, that's economically and that's globally right now. So that's some major red flags. Part of our pre-market routine, which is something I like to sort of help you guys learn, is, ask yourself, do we have any economic news going on today? Yes or no? Do we have any worldly, global news going on? Any global tensions brewing? Anything new that might impact any ecosystem, right? Any macro event? What's going on? If there are answers to that, and there's a lot of worry and uncertainty and unsureness, uncertainty means unsureness, right? Not sure which direction it's going to go in. When there's a lot of uncertainty and worry, that's when markets perform pretty poorly. When markets need to perform poorly in order to find its strength, to find its grounds, and move higher, right? That's when people have the best time to invest, is when markets are moving lower. We're able to get good returns on investments from those. At this moment, because we're day traders, we're looking more towards the smaller scale of that, and that would be, do we have consistent trend to the upside? Do we have a consistent trend to the downside? Directionally speaking, do we have some consistency in the economy, right? Did consumer confidence come in at strength, and we should look for that to continue? Did Apple report earnings, and it had a double beat, and we should look for equities to be strong, whatever the case may be, we want to have something economically behind it, right? Geopolitically, macro, whatever the case may be. Crude also had a very strong pullback from this area of interest that I had marked out there, right? We had potential longs off of this zone, and then what happened? We crashed through it. So we're just waiting right now. Again, very uncertain. We do have some orders starting to fill and starting to form here on ES. But at this point, we see every time we try to move higher, yes, candles are breaking previous candle highs and closing green, but the bodies are starting to get smaller and smaller, which signals some sort of weakness. YouTube, do you guys want to see? You guys can see the little dude. I shared it with Discord. I'll show you guys the real thing. This is the little man. He's a good boy. His name is Jagger because he's got moves like Jagger. And you can't always get what you want. Alright, you guys trying to make a break of the 6100. Now, if we do break above 6100, 6110. Now, something to mention again, guys, is that yes, we're breaking higher, we're continuing higher, trends continuing higher, but it's been pretty choppy. It's been struggling, but we wouldn't look for shorts just based off of that, right? We would be looking to buy these dips and continue higher on this trend. Our 15-minute candle orb, we had to break out, right? We'd look for trend continuation. 15-minute orb here on gold was a breakdown. Same with oil. We had our 15-minute right here. We actually had a double break on oil. Broke up, it failed to hold higher, and then we broke down. Alright, let's see. We can take a look at the NASDAQ, see where NQ is trading too. NASDAQ making its way towards the supply zone. 22,197, so I would probably look to target 22,200 key psychological level on NASDAQ. Nice rejection lower, man, on gold. Glad I haven't executed anything today. Today's price action has been very spontaneous, been very inconsistent, and when we recognize that, the best way to handle that is by staying out of it. Got out, break even, couldn't handle it. That's alright, Happy. Happy Journey, what trade were you in? Were you in ES? Were you in NQ, long or short? Guys here on Discord, have you guys taken any trades today as well? Let me know. I'd love to know what trades you took and why you had that bias. VIX has been moving lower, and just like Signet mentioned, once we broke below that 19, once we broke below that 19, we had some resistance on supply, so it wasn't a quick ES break, but it has been continuing higher. ES only, all right. Were you long on the ES, Happy? Happy Journey, any relation to Happy Gilmore? Ha ha ha. Alright, here we have that book map level from Friday on gold at that 34.18. So it was a major level on Friday, 34.18. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Happy Monday, June 16th. Guys, feel free, if you're here on YouTube, join our community, Bullishbrs.com. I go live Monday through Friday for us. Get some good stuff going on today. It is 10:08. Don't forget follow us on Instagram as well, and Discord. I would definitely appreciate it if you do have social media, follow me on Instagram. It's Trading with Kev. I like to post updates to these macro events, updates to these earnings reports, anything that brings strong consistency or some type of impact to the market, I report on the same day. So if you're not here for every live stream, if you're not able to check the economic calendar every day, or you're not able to stay on top of things like that, I post very short, very brief, 30-second clips covering what's going on in the market. And also I cover a little bit, and I don't like to get my own bias involved in it. I like to stay very, not sidelined, but I also like to give my opinion on this can happen when this happens, right? So again, I covered a video on Friday, how the dollar hit a 2-year low. When the dollar hits a 2-year low, well, that could show a lot of strength for something like gold, right? Gold, the dollar's trading poorly. Gold might also trade strong. That did not happen right now. Right now we're waiting. We got a nice rejection to that 34.18. And we'll just wait to see how we want to react here. Yes, and NQ pulling back. Again, we're in supply. Wouldn't be looking for longs at these highs right now. I'd look for now maybe 60.90 to about 60.88 on ES. And that is right near my broken supply zone. Well, it's not even a broken supply zone just yet. But this would be where I'd look for a long position on ES here. I'd look to see if maybe we could break lower. Once we break back above, I'll adjust my stop loss to wherever that recent low that we created was, and look to take this long to target new high of day, as long as buyers are able to step back within. Nicole, Kevin, Kavitha, how you guys doing today? What's going on? What is up? EC 1493, what's going on? Good morning, hello. Charlie Buster, what's going on, guys? Ozzy, what's up? What's up? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Was holding gold short since market open age at 5:30. Away. Maybe 5:30 ticks, but dude, that's crazy. That's wild. Good stuff, man. Great short. Really great short. What was your analysis? Send a screenshot of your entry and what you were looking at. What gave you your entry? What gave you... I see your target was near previous day low. And a key level. It looks like previous day high was your entry. Right, you got right in. Oh, wow, you got right in up here? Damn. You said I see supply, I see previous high, I see low volume. Let's go. Dude, you took it right at open. That's insane. That's absurd. From 34.62 to 34.06? Wow, almost 60 points on gold to the downside. EXO, you are killing it, bro. Killing it last week, killing it today. Great job, man. Hey, good stuff, Kevin. I'm happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. Yep, happy Father's Day, guys, to anybody here who is a father. Hope you guys were able to spend some time with your family, with your loved ones. Maybe get some dinner, get some lunch or something. Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's all you, bro. Killing it. Love to see that. Let's see. Yo, the cat cooled down, so we should be good for a little bit. Happy journey. I'd be careful for looking for shorts because right now, because the markets have been stronger today, right? Markets have been bullish. I'd be careful taking shorts because we haven't really been given a proper sign or signal to show us that we're reversing. Right now, we've only been making some higher highs, some higher lows. We've had some buying pressure, some buying volume. I would wait to maybe see, okay, or unless you want to maybe short up here towards these highs and trade at range bound, but I'd really be patient because NASDAQ still has some room to go. It's got about 20 points towards the next supply zone, and ES is trading in a supply zone, but it has been bullish today. So we don't want to counter trend trade. We'd really look to want to try to find that dip, buy a pullback, see if we get an entry. Yo, has anybody used Google VO3 yet? I haven't. I tried to use it. I tried to sign up for it, and it ended up signing me up for like Google Gemini or something. I'm like, what? It's not. This isn't the AI I was looking for.
Well, in the VO, I mean, Gemini is their equivalent to Chat GPT, but isn't VO's
Like the
picture
video
modeling
one.
or something?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the video one. I just saw it running down off the top of a 1 minute and thought it was ramping down till it reversed. Yeah, be careful, Happy Journey, be careful trading the 1 minute time frame because you gotta ask yourself also, are you doing your own analysis beforehand and finding your levels on a higher time frame? If you're finding your levels on a 15 minute, 30 minute, and hourly, but then trading on the 1 minute time frame, well, the 1 minute is notorious for giving a lot of false signals. So when you're doing your analysis on a higher time frame and your entries on a lower time frame, it could really start to skew your perception on that zone. So if you're doing a 30-minute analysis, maybe don't go lower than a 5-minute chart, right? And when you're entering on the 1 minute, make sure that you're entering with the same trend as the 5-minute and 15-minute, right? Our time frame should always match the next best or next higher time frame. And that's because we want to trade with the trend, and if there's no trend, we want to trade the range, which would be buying the lows and selling the highs. Iran apparently wants peace talks, so let's take a look at that. Hims is squeezing on the daily. There's a meme, it says, this is how this year's going so far. It was January, a little disassociation, and now it's June. It's about right. I can't believe it's June already, guys. Can't believe it's June, and I can't believe my Knicks aren't in the, whatever. Yes, and then Q, we're range bound. We're choppy at the moment, but we've been trending higher, so I wouldn't look for shorts every time a sign of seller steps in. We would be trying to chase then. And another thing we want to remember is we don't want to try to be the first seller. Let's see. We look ready for a breakout. If ES breaks out of 6104, we're going to 6109. It's just a quick little 5-point move right there, but most likely a nice impulse move we'll see there. We've seen some craziness today. Alright, let's see. Looking like we're trying to squeeze here for another breakout on ES. Clearly not really giving us the best of pullback entries, no imbalance entries, low volume node entries. Sort of just remaining consistent, getting that break above 60.77. What's going on, guys? Good morning, everybody. I'm just dreaming I could catch a top and things looked extended. Yeah, no, I'd be careful. I'd be careful because when it comes to taking a trade, if your entry criteria is, well, things looked extended, that's not an entry criteria, right? That's where RSI can also throw you bad signals. There is no looks extended. If we're in a trend, we're in a trend, period. We're out of that trend until market shows us otherwise. The market's going to show us otherwise by taking its time and giving us some type of break of structure back to the downside. If we don't get that, then we stay in this trend. If this market continues higher, we pull back, we continue higher, we're pulling back, we continue higher, well then it doesn't look like we're extended, it looks like we're trending. If we were able to push back higher here, and then we came back lower, and we took out this low right here, and we created a lower low off of this lower time frame, then pulled back and created a lower high right here and started selling off, then we'd be able to take our short position, right? We'd be able to take our short with a little more confidence that we're rejecting a supply zone, we're creating a lower high, maybe a head and shoulders pattern, and we're able to take that off of our key level previous day high, maybe a volume shelf and target VWAP, right? And that's sort of how we can let the market come to us, and how it's so important to be patient. Yep, very wild, for sure. Huh. It is 10:20. Let's see. Any events today? Not really. Let's see. NQ pulling back, weighted index pulling back. That does not mean we go short. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What a slow Monday we're getting today. We're getting a choppy trend higher. It's taking its time, not really giving us any proper pullbacks. I'm sure it'll give us something once we call it a day here. There we go, ES with a break of 61.04. Would look to see if ES could break above 61.05. There's 61.05, some sellers stepping in, but I want to see us break towards that next supply zone at 61.09 now. Guys, I haven't taken any trades today, guys. This market has not been giving me proper market conditions for me to confidently be like, hey, this is A+, right? Because guess what? Gold didn't give us an A+ setup. Oil didn't give us an A+ setup. ES and NQ, they've been trending higher. We've been directionally correct on this, but it hasn't been giving us an entry. Maybe now, this area 60.99.75 as a potential long entry. 60.99.75, is that what I said? 6100 pretty much. Could possibly look to see if we want to pull back to that level. It was an area of resistance on Bookmap. Now it's a level of support. Right here, resistance, broke it. Now I'd want to see us push into it and hold it as support. Very strong level, 6100. Getting there. Let's see. We don't really have a large lot tracker sitting there either, so it's not like we have a large buyer, like a strong individual buyer sitting there. We're sort of just status quo. We do have passive buyers sitting there. We see that on Bookmap, but we don't have an individual passive buyer. What do I mean by that? Well, over here we have our large lot tracker, and that would show a white level on the COB. So you see this white trend line right here, this little white line. So there's 92 lots of sellers at 6108, and it shows about halfway through we have that white line, which tells me 50% of these 93 lots is one order. So that would mean about 45 is one seller. So there's 45 lots of ES from one seller there on ES here on Bookmap it shows. Now, do I know if that 45 lots, is that somebody getting in a trade, in a short trade? Is that somebody exiting a long trade? I don't know. It just shows me that that is what that is. It's one order, that many lots at that price level. Oh boy. Let's see. Oil not up below previous day low or previous day high. Gold, I'm pretty sure it's below its previous day low for sure. No, it's not. Gold's it just wicked its previous day low. It was so close. Oh, there's ES. Let's see if ES wants to hold the 60-100 now. Do you think data feed is worth it? Which data feed, what are you referring to? So right now I'm using Bookmap over here. Bookmap is 1,000 billion% worth it. Data feed though, what are you, is it that a platform? Yeah, there's a lot of platforms that require data and feed data, so I'm not too sure which exactly you're talking about. Abelix. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Alright, come on, ES. Get to the 60-100. 80 lots sitting there. We do have some stronger buying delta than we do selling delta right now, and I see that because when I'm looking at the buying delta, I see 460, 235, 280, 300, 356. Strongest negative delta I see is 320. Other than that, we have 2 in the 200s, and that's it. I meant Bookmap, but also do you use footprint charts? Yeah, so I use Bookmap. Bookmap's more for our order flow, and I use footprint charts here on TradingView, and I'll throw that on right here. And I like to use the total when it comes to the footprint charts. So usually it shows the bid and the ask. I like to see the total amount of volume, and I'll look to see where our point of control is and where the most volume is being traded on that candle. And if I see that we're continuously moving higher in price and point of control and volume is also stacking up higher, then I look for us to trend and continue up, right? And that's what we've been getting all day today. Now, that volume footprint along with our order flow of Bookmap is extremely helpful. Order flow is key, very essential. $70 on crude oil right here. That's cool. Let's see. ES just doesn't want to give anybody a good pullback entry. It's saying, screw you guys, I'm going home. So ongoing Iran and Israel conflict, if tensions continue to rise or oil supply faces disruptions, expect increased market volatility, a surge in oil prices, and heightened fear across global markets. Bank of Japan rate decision is June 16th, that's also today. Market sentiment is cautious ahead of Bank of Japan's decision with a focus on global economic trends and central bank coordination. Markets expect a neutral stance from the Bank of Japan with global economic uncertainty and central bank decisions influencing sentiment. So that might also be why, guys, gold is having such a tough day too. Bank of Japan. G7 summit in Canada. G7 leaders are convening with key topics including Iran-Israel conflicts, energy market stability, and sanctions on Russia. Any statements or policy decisions emerging from the meeting could significantly impact global commodities and shift market expectations. So we really got a lot going on this week in terms of global economic indifferences, right? And that's exactly what I was talking about pre-market. I'm reading all of this from Market AI, which is that AI platform that I was telling you guys about on Friday. Alright. Yes, and then Q, bopping and chopping and sopping. Let's see. Crude, dropping. Yes, pretty steady. Wants another pop here. I'm probably going to be trading a little lighter in size this week, guys, due to all of the uncertainty and economic worry going on right now.
I'm actually trading silver today.
Yeah,
Well,
how's that going?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. It's about like NQ.
Yeah.
As far as the dollar per point, it's $25 a point for the full contract. But it's yeah, it's pretty looking pretty good today. It's not as crazy as oil is.
Yeah.
I really never looked at it before, though I started hunting for some other options. It doesn't have a lot of volume in it. For most day traders, it'd be plenty, but
don't forget natural gas. That's another one that's probably going to see some volatility.
Yeah, I put that on my list also. I just didn't like set up on it at the time.
Yeah, I liked. You know, it's funny. I remember I was also looking at other golds, other commodities like gold, and when I was looking at platinum versus silver, I think I liked how platinum traded a little bit better. But I do think it's a to each his own type of deal when it comes to platinum, gold, and silver. And also something to think, there are some traders that just trade platinum, gold, and silver, right? These are all, yes, they're all markets, they're all metals, that's the word I was looking for. But sometimes one might trend stronger than the other. Sometimes, right? It all depends on current market fluctuation, direction, and stability.
Well, lately I've been leaning my trading, me personally, I've been leaning my trading strategy towards linear regression, standard deviation models. And so for something like that, I need something that is not so whippy.
Yep.
So that's why crude was doing so good until this weekend.
Yeah.
But silver looks pretty good right now. It's a pretty smooth sailor today.
Yeah. Take a look. I have silver, platinum, and gold all up right now on my chart. Take a look at how smooth platinum was too this morning. Had a nice trend at 8 o'clock. 7:55 it started on the 5-minute until 8:20, and it was a nice bull trend for that whole about 30 minutes.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool, man. That's cool. If anything, I would definitely maybe keep a chart up of the 3 of them, or if you want to keep 4 like I have with the dollar in the bottom left, and just sort of see where VWAP is in relation to all of them, supply and demand, support resistance levels, what's giving you the best setup, you know? But that's pretty cool. Like platinum was sweeping a high at 10:05, and then it gave us a rejection. That was also when silver was rejecting VWAP. So it's like we could use these different metal markets to trade metal markets, and that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. There goes ES, another little wick higher, tapped supply, not going anywhere fast. Not going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, we do have FOMC on what, Wednesday, I think.
I believe so, yes sir. FOMC Wednesday.
A lot of times, if you're not in Signet's morning stream where he talks about this, I'll restate it real quick, but you'll see things like ES and the NQ, their range, their daily range will tighten up. Nobody wants to take a big move,
right?
And until FOMC comes out. So we do have to kind of pay attention to that. Also, we have contract rolls. I posted a big thing about that late last night. So like TradingView will tell you that they're on the ES, their continuous contract, ES1 exclamation, is on the continuous contract, which would be wherever the volume is at the moment. But the orders will go on the M contract. So be mindful of that kind of stuff, folks, there. When we have these contract rolls, you got two choices. You either need to wait a couple days before you trade and let the markets settle down on where they're going to be, or you need to actually put in the ticker you're trading, not the ES1 exclamation. You need to put in the ESM5 or whatever. Also remember, when the contracts roll, your drawings will be wrong on the continuous contract. Kevin's gone over that many times as far as showing people how to adjust the drawings, but you have to realize your drawings will either have to be moved or you just delete them and start over.
Yep. Yo, good stuff, Charlie Mike. Charlie Mike just sent us over a screenshot from Forex Factory for what we got cooking this week. We got Wednesday unemployment claims 8:30, federal FOMC federal funds rate, right? Rate cuts possibly 2 o'clock, 2:30 is the press conference. So we got a lot going on Wednesday, just like Marzetti mentioned as well. And we also have, I thought we had consumer spending tomorrow. What do we have tomorrow? We have retail sales tomorrow. So we got a lot going on this week. A lot of macro events going on, right? And that would be retail sales, FOMC meeting. And then we also have a lot of global events going on, which unfortunately is the Iran and Israel bomb and war going on. Yeah, right? Happy. It's keep climbing, man. Right until I buy. I'd still be looking for that 6100 on ES. We get a quick pullback to it. But markets have been so choppy. I haven't taken a single trade today. We just got to recognize when conditions are not in our favor and stay paper. Paper is a position. Cash is a position. When I say stay paper, I mean stay cash. Right? Cash is a position. We do not trade this. Paper hands, that's what I meant. Is that what I meant? I don't know, man. I'm tired and these markets are lame. Alright, guys. ES pulling back. Give us that 6100. So because we have a bid sitting there at 58, I want to see this bid get filled. We also have that low volume shelf right at 6101. So I'd want to see a quick reaction to this. We would take it long at 6102, stop loss wherever that 6100 low was, and then look to see if we could take this long. It's funny, usually when markets are choppy like this on ES and Q, I like to look for gold or something to trade. But right now, all markets have just been so range bound. There's zero consistency. Everything is running a very tight shift right now, right? Very tight price action. Come on now, 6100's coming up. 2 points away from it now. Could also look to see where gold and VIX is trading at. VIX is pulling back. Gold hits NASDAQ finally hit supply. Good morning, Desi. Morning, Hugo. Gene, what's going on, man? Habibi, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Jenya, what's going on? Hello, hello, good morning. Getting a little bit of a pullback here. Wanted to wait for that 6100 on ES. Market's like, yeah, but we ain't gonna give it to you. Not today, no sir. But guys, Marzidi had a great point, guys. FOMC coming up this Wednesday. A lot of institutions are beyond aware of these things. They're aware of it weeks ahead, right? They prepare for it. That's how aware of it they are. So they know that they're most likely not trading much capital on that Monday leading up into it. Sometimes barely on that Tuesday leading up into it. They're waiting for the results of it. They're waiting for that strong impact, and then they'll start to execute their trades accordingly. A lot of selling, a lot of buying. There's a lot of inconsistency right here on ES. 6100, I'd look to see if we could push lower and hold. We tried to push into the low volume shelf around 6101, but we missed it. So let's see. Come on now. Fill these buyers at 6101. Come on, we're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, we're getting close. Look at the 6100. Very strong buyer sitting there. Watch ES for now. See if it's finally giving us our possible entry. Here's that low volume node right there, 6101. Come on now. I like that it's starting to hold right here. This could almost be our possible entry point right here. Stop loss below that 6100, but I'd much rather be a little patient and see if we can react to that 6100. Looks like we're trying to curve. This might hold here. Let's see. Come on now, 6100. Give us a little push lower. Getting there. Less than 2 points away. Ooh, buyers are protecting that 6100, man. It's pretty clean. We'd be looking to buy this dip down here. We wouldn't be looking to sell it at the moment. Be looking to buy this dip possibly. I'm staying out of this. I'm being patient. I'm not a fan of it because we're in this broken supply zone for ES, which should hold us support, but we're also in a supply zone, a real supply zone on NASDAQ. So a lot of uncertainty right here. There we go. Nice hold there. Beautiful. They know you want it. Yeah. Happy journey. You know it. They know we want it. But yo, it held that low volume shelf very well. Very well. For now. And that could have been a very close entry. TP, maybe a 2-to-1 would be targeted up here. Very interesting. I love Bookmap because sometimes if it stalls out near strong levels, we're able to get that entry stop loss at that low and then target a quick 2-to-1 or something like that. I haven't taken this trade. I haven't taken any trades today, guys. Markets have been extremely choppy and not really in our favor. It's been a buy the dip type of day today, but it hasn't been a fair value gap. That was just our first low volume node entry, and I would consider that as I missed that entry because I was looking for 6100. But that low volume node held very well. I was calling that out too as I was seeing it, but I did not take it. I wasn't okay with that trade. Wasn't a fan of it. YouTube guys, make sure you run that like button up. I do appreciate you guys for hopping on today. It is 10:45. I'm going to wrap up the stream in about 5 or so minutes. I hope you guys were able to make some bank with us today if you took any trades, and if not, I hope you were at least able to sit cash, maybe learn something, right? The whole point of coming into the market every day isn't so much to take a trade every day, but to learn, gain experience, and get better. So tomorrow when you come into trade, you're that much better that next day. 15-minute has been continuously, and again guys, this is why I mentioned always trading with the 15-minute and 5-minute if you're trading on that 1 minute, because if you were trading on the 15-minute here today, you would see as soon as 9:30 market open, that first 15-minute candle we got, we're now 4 or 5 15-minute candles in, we've had 4 or 5 green candles in a row. You would have been trading with that trend and you would have been doing just fine. Joel, Johnny, JT, what's poppin', guys? Hope you guys are doing good today. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what is it, 10:46? We'll let ES go to a new high, and then we'll probably wrap up the stream, but we'll see. Some resistance up here, but we've noticed we've been running through resistance today. Would be a little careful because now at this point, so hey, who was in here? I think Happy, I think it was you, who said you took the trade because it looked like we were extended and you felt like we saw a little selling pressure. So at this point, when we've had a move, a pullback, our second leg, and now we started to consolidate, now this looks more like, okay, we're starting to consolidate. This might be where we actually start to maybe base out. Maybe we make one more new high a day and then stay range bound again. But at this point now, markets are giving us the clue that, hey, we're choppy here. We're range bound. We might not get that. We might not continue anymore. Before, we tried to stall out with these wicks, but we kept breaking green, breaking and closing green. Breaking previous candles high and closing green. And that's something I like to look out for, guys, right? Breaking a previous candle high and closing green. That would almost be like when we break a previous day high and I look for us to close green on that daily time frame, except now we're doing our analysis of that on a lower time frame. Good stuff today, everybody. Good stuff. And guys, if anybody did want me to start getting into more like options or stocks, please let me know too. Would happily do some more charting questions and stuff of that nature. Always down. Alright guys, have a great day. Have a good rest of your Monday. Hope you guys were able to take some trades if you were trying to trend trade that. If not, markets have been very choppy, so make sure you don't overtrade, right? Don't keep sitting here at the computer if you know markets are choppy, because when we force ourselves to sit here and continue watching the screen, what happens is it increases the odds that we have some type of FOMO. We feel like we need to take a trade. We feel like we don't want to miss out. We feel like we need to be in it. The market has to do something at some point. We can't range forever. And when we start getting that mindset that is very poor, there's no consistency or plan behind it, and then it's going to reflect poorly on us as traders and make us feel like we don't know what we're doing, when in all reality, we do know what we're doing. We're just at that point, we're not following our plan, and we know we could do better from there.
All right, sir. You have a good day.
Yes, sir.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys tomorrow for sure. And yeah, Signet mentioned this might be a good example of a long-term trending week. Let's look at the weekly time frame, right? Well, weekly time frame, we had a nice trend from early April to about mid-May. Since mid-May, look at this weekly range. We've been making higher highs, higher lows, but it's been struggling to make those breaks. So we will see, we will be patient, and we will see what tomorrow brings us.